And my director is just informing that my colleague Elijah Uko, of course, he's also part of the entire team that is providing a 360 degrees vantage view of these proceedings. He is in Naiberi, Uasin Gishu County. We'll hopefully be linking up with him because of network issues, just to understand what is happening on the ground. But you can see now the senior members of clergy have seated. So Elijah Uko, we understand that he's on standby right now. Elijah, we can see where, just give us a sense of exactly where you are and what should be happening at that particular point in Naiberi.
Good morning. We're coming to you live from Naiberi in the county of Uasin Gishu. And let me apologize, there's so much wind here, but we will try to be as loud as possible between me and my colleague Elijah. There might not be very heavy activity going on here at this Naiberi farm that belongs to the late Kelvin Kiptum. It is a 4-acre property which he had bought prior to his death, and because he had bought it just recently, there had not been major developments on this property, either in farming or even in construction of a house. And perhaps this is why the government came in and put up a structure for Kelvin Kiptum, so that he's not just buried on an empty piece of land, but they created a home of sorts for the late athlete. Before we move to the house, if my cameraman could allow us, and Elijah, I want us to walk to the gravesite. These will be the most important parts of the day. Remember, after the funeral service that is going on at Chepkorio in the neighboring Elgeyo Marakwet County, then all the focus will move to here in Naiberi, and these will be a global arena, Elijah, because it is not only the residents of this country who will be following, but also the world at large as we prepare to lay Kelvin Kiptum to rest. I can see a number of young men just preparing his gravesite. Elijah.
For sure, I want to welcome all our viewers from wherever they are watching us. The last final touches are being put in place. Currently, we are seeing the graveyard of Kelvin Kiptum being prepared. There are several gentlemen here who are putting in the hard yards, trying to make sure that the graveyard is complete and is done on time. And the environment over here is quite beautiful. The job that has been done on this particular piece of land is quite remarkable, considering the time frame that they had to complete the job. The house is also looking spectacular. We'll be having a tour of the house later on, and we'll be giving you live pictures of what exactly was done to the house. It's a furnished house, fully furnished, and the government is also building his father's house, which is not yet complete, but the foundation is done, which is also good, and it's a good way of remembering and seeing off a legend who has had a short but a remarkable career in the world of athletics.
Yeah, no doubt, Elijah. And just to give you a perspective of how this gravesite will be, I'm now joined by my colleague Bernard Rotich from the Daily Nation. Rotich has the privilege of being home from the Kalenjin community. Rotich, if you could just talk to us about the gravesite, how do you guys prepare it, where do you locate it, and what informed this gravesite to be just a few meters, is it on the right hand side of the house that the government has put up for the family of the late Kiptum?
Thank you so much, Lois. If you can see the men here preparing the gravesite actually has to be done the day the late is being buried, on the material day. Okay. And if you see, when Kiptum's father said that he wanted to when he wakes up, he sees his graves, son's graves. This is where he wanted it to see. So you can see the house, it's in between the two houses, because the widow can be able to see the grave, and also the father on the other side in the new home will be able also to see the grave. So we expect he will be buried here, maybe later in the day. But this is how the father wanted to be, because the family has to locate where their son has to be buried.
Talk to us about the young men who are preparing the gravesite. According to the Kalenjin tradition, are these relatives or are these neighbors and friends? And do you have a member of the family just supervising the whole exercise?
Yeah, these are members of the community within that, because that is where they now come in and help their neighbor do this. And I think there is someone from the family who is supervising the whole thing. And yeah, that is it.
the gravesite has been sort of fenced off, where we have the home compound and the gravesite. Remember, this farm is about 4 acreage. Yes, so there's very limited space here. What sort of picture would we be having in the afternoon? Because everyone would want to sort of just see off Kiptum to his gravesite, and you know the traditional way of doing things, kuchota mchanga na kumsindikisha. How will that be managed? Because I understand we are looking at a crowd of over 10,000 persons at Chepkorio grounds, where the ceremony will be before they head here to the late Kiptum.
I think it will be a family affair. Very few people will be coming here, and of course the dignitaries. You remember we have the World Athletics president who is here also. So I think it will only be a family affair. I've also seen a lot of security men around. I know that now they'll be able to help to contain the public. The public would want to see what is going on at this compound. Many would want to come and see the house that actually took 7 days to be completed. So many will be curious to see what is happening at the compound, but we thank God because there is a fence that will be able to restrain them. Yeah.
Thank you, Rotich. Elijah, from the other end, I can see more preparations. Perhaps those where we'll have the larger crowds who may not fit here at the official residence where Kiptum will be laid to rest. Talk to us about what is happening on the other side of the fence.
Well, on the other side of the fence is the farmland, and currently, as you can see, there's a bowser that is just making sure that it won't be too dusty when the multitude of mourners will be making their way right here. Plenty of people have come to pay their last respect to the legend Kiptum at Chepkorio, and where we are currently, it's a bit dry, and we need plenty of water in order to have a wonderful send-off right here at Naiberi, because it's dry and it's windy, so we really need plenty of water here. But the county government of Uasin Gishu has provided several bowsers actually, and they're doing a good job as we can see and from what we can report. And we will, like I said earlier, the final touches are being made in the house, in the compound. Everything looks to be going according to plan. Everything looks set from this particular side.